this. Do you know that the CIA is capable of toppling governments outside of America? So what do you think they did to a black community who was just trying to make it to the next day? Who was just trying to be with their families, be with their loved ones, dance. Just dance in the street.
Have fun.
Have fun. Be happy, man. Dress nice. Wear a suit. Go to a club. Listen to jazz. You know what I'm saying? Like, they used to...
Young nigga drippin'.
What's going on, Blunties? How y'all doing? It's your boy Dessaline here with...
What's going on, Blunties? This is Pharaoh. We here today, baby. We talking about some important shit. Let's get it.
You feel me? Let's get straight into it, man. CIA financed 80s hip-hop to corrupt American youth, admits ex-CIA agent. Whew. Let's dive deep into this, Pharaoh. Real talk. It's not a surprise. It's more of a, it makes sense.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but before we get into this topic, let's just let everybody know his name, the ex-CIA agent. His name is John Homestead, so you can go ahead and look him up. There's a few articles online. You could also go to Rumble. There's a lot of people talking about that as well, and we are here today to talk about it, so, you got us too.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So the government at the time spent big money, serious money, on this covert operation destined for further division and corrupt the American youth to anti-establishment, anti-American ideologies, blah 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 blah. Basically, here's why I'm gonna get into my Dr. Umar real quick. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. You put it on a serious face, which means that this man is serious.
You understand?
Excuse me, brother.
Let me tell you something, my brother. Let me tell you something. So, right before hip-hop began, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about the 1960s, 1970s. This was towards the end of the civil rights movement, right after the murder of Martin Luther King Jr., who's trying to bring all of people of America into one.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Dr. Umar vibes right now.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, brother.
During the time before black men were wearing their pants past their ass, before black men were selling crack cocaine, they were wearing suits, walking in $1 million marches. Mm-hmm. I said $1 million. Million Man marches to the White House, unified in peace. They did not like that. Mm-hmm. They needed to destroy that black man.
Not to mention about
that music. Black family, that masculinity within the black culture. They needed to destroy him because they saw the power of positivity he brought. Mm-hmm. Moving into the era of music, past jazz, when we get into the beginning stages of hip hop. Hey, yo, today we go down the street. There was a certain point. It got real violent. It was a certain point where it promoted or it highlighted the negative places within the black communities during that time.
Word.
The poverty, the drugs, etc. Now, Blunteers, don't you forget that during that time, the American government was found guilty for pumping crack cocaine into the neighborhoods on purpose, given by CIA. There's a whole show about it. It's called Snowfall.
Yep.
Perfect example. To fund wars overseas, they allowed Americans to sell crack cocaine to other Americans. Guess who were most of those Americans? They were black. Given that history, it's not unheard of for them to want to fund that sort of low vibrational music.
Yep.
Even though in our minds during that time, when I say our, I mean black people as a whole, yeah, some people thought it was vulgar or whatever, but it was really a poetry. It was really a roaring song from lions in the jungle saying, hey, this is what we actually went through, And there's people on the East Coast, there's people up here that also go through this. This is crazy. Y'all relating to me? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We're relating to each other on a level. Like I'm pouring my soul out onto this track, and I feel like people are feeling me. But then you didn't see the negative side of it also, where it was glamorized to a point where people who weren't going through it or was going through it thought it was okay, thought it was cool. It was like, you know what? All right, it is what it is. What I was trying to get to was, because I'm done with my Dr. Umar now, I'm done with it, was it's not a surprise, man. It's just not a surprise that it was funded and directed towards a specific place to go.
Yo, that, I'm not even gonna lie, this is some sinister shit on a whole different level. Check this out. He says, our mission was to use teenagers to our advantage and turn Generation X into a decadent, pro-drug, and anti-establishment culture that would create uprisings and further division within society. We even infiltrated mainstream radio to promote their music and reach millions of people every day, he admitted. So, when you hear these facts, not from me, but from an ex-CIA agent, it makes you wonder, how many artists, well-known black artists today, are making money talking about drugs, the promotion of violence, the promotion of promiscuity, just downright disturbing things. It makes you wonder, this man must be telling the truth.
You know, it's crazy. A lot of people in the industry who own record labels are part owners of jails and prisons.
Exactly. And let me give you some statistics on jails. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah. Do that. That's why I was
And guess what? Over 74 billion, listen, not million, not thousands, 74 billion a year is funded by both the U.S. government and American taxpayers. So, they even got the American people to get in cahoots with them unknowingly. You feel what I'm saying? Let me give you another statistic. Guess how much money from the 1970s to the present day they are making nearly... excuse me. There was about 511 prisons in roughly around the 1970s. Guess what? How much? That thing more than tripled. So there's 1,663 prisons in America today. Woo! If those numbers aren't alarming, then you are asleep, blood tears. Come on. Talk to me, Dessaline.
I wanted to add on to what you were saying.
Yeah.
With Mr. CIA...
John Homestead.
He was a CIA asset, most definitely, right? For them, he said during this interview, this is what he said: for many of us in the CIA, infiltrating the 1980s hip hop scene was one of the CIA's most successful experiments of propaganda to date.
Ooh, sounds like their propaganda is better than Joseph Stalin's, but that's a whole nother topic. But continue, my brother.
I was just adding on to exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
So as far as the prison complex, as far as America is concerned, right? There's a lot of people who are who would debate this, right? They would go back and forth with this subject, saying that, hey, black people filled most of the prison systems in America because they ended up there by making their own choices, right? It was your choice to do that bad thing.
Like what Hillary Clinton
said. It was
said.
your choice.
No.
You get what I'm saying? Like you like at the end of the day, it's true. Hey, you know what you're doing is wrong. You know selling this is wrong. You know having this weapon is wrong. But sometimes you're in a certain situation where you don't know, and you know it's wrong, but you don't know how serious it is, and people will just end up in situations. There's no excuses. We understand that. But when you go deeper into this, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why this is why I think maybe I have too much a big heart, because I'm like, yo, you must have no empathy whatsoever for those people who are on that side of the fence, who don't care about criminals, who don't care about what's going on in the black community as far as the criminal masterminds behind how it came to be.
Yeah,
it was manipulated to become this way.
Yes,
it was a complete psyop. It was what it was. And it was tiny little steps to get there.
Yep.
Pieces of propaganda to get people who didn't even realize it to get to where they were going. We're talking about liquor stores on the same corner right next to check cashing places. We're talking about drugs being pumped in, crack cocaine being there. Crack cocaine putting people into the prison complex longer than people who just possess regular powdered cocaine. These are specific things that came to this conclusion, that came to where we are today as a society. You know how many stories they've ignored? We have all of these videos that we see motherfuckers getting shot on camera in front of their daughters, in front of their wives, in cold blood, being murdered. Men, women, children being shot. This cop that shot this 11-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid, inside his own house was found acquitted, my dude.
Yeah.
He was found acquitted. This is something that happened recently, Bluntiers. Now, I understand this is all sounding like, to some people, it'll sound like some boohoo story, but you have to have some sort of understanding what a psyop is. If you understand, this is why I hate people who are educated, who ignore the stories of black people.
I think it's done purposely.
They ignore the stories because it's like, yo, my G, listen to this. Do you know that the CIA is capable of toppling governments outside of America? So what do you think they did to a black community who was just trying to make it to the next day, who was just trying to be with their families, be with their loved ones, dance, just dance in the street,
have fun,
be happy, man, dress nice, wear a suit, go to a club, listen to jazz. You know what I'm saying? Like black people were mostly positive people because they always saw there was a better tomorrow, especially from what they came from.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a point in history, right, where culture was destroyed. And I believe America was a part of that. And they didn't stop it, not because they didn't see anything coming. No, they saw it coming. They saw it coming, my nigga. This guy's admitting that it was a propaganda aimed towards that very thing because they're like, yo, we can't have another Martin Luther King. We can't have another Malcolm X. We need these niggas as ignorant as possible. And I use that N-word on purpose because that's how they thought. There's a video of Joe Biden talking about Negroes. He said it. He said it with such calmness too.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the Negro is just like us, and he said it just like that. Like we're talking about the President of the United States right now. Used Negro in a video like it was regular. This was the mentality back then, man. They didn't care. They knew what was going on. My fault, I don't mean to rant.
No, I was just actually going to just piggyback off you because J. Edgar Hoover himself was saying that black families are the greatest threat to America because you have to consider the fact that the black family in that time, which included the man, woman, and child, or children, however you want to consider it, their family dynamics, or I would say our family dynamics, were so powerful. And on top of that, not to mention, we knew so many different trades that basically provided so much. We provided so much
innovation.
Yeah, innovation, and into this country. And a lot of these peoples ended up being people who were in the Black Panther, who were people considered extremist groups in America. So they understood that the basic foundation of what a lot of these guys stood for was a good household and education. You get what I'm saying? So you eliminate the father out of the entire equation, and then you make the woman be the head of the household because the father isn't there. The family dynamics change. Now, the father's in the prison system, wherever he is, right? And then you have the mother taking up a more masculine role. This creates a chaotic imbalanced family structure, bro. And they knew this. And this was the perfect plan to implement on the black families of America. They understand how powerful we are when those family dynamics are balanced. You get what I'm saying? So when you take out the men, and a lot of people think men don't play extreme role in the whole entire household. If you don't think so, right, and you're one of those people who believe that the man doesn't play a part in a family role, go look at some of the statistics of single mothers and how that affects when there's no father in the household. Just look it up. Go see. You'll see a lot of them are in mass incarceration. A lot of them end up, I'm talking about the children now. A lot of them end up being sexually abused, being into criminal organizations. It's just, the list goes on. So you need the father. I'm not gonna take sides, but the father is probably more important because he brings structure and balance into the family dynamic. So you can't take that. You cannot take that away at all. They knew this. And apparently, us being family orientated is a threat. Damn, I didn't even know my entire existence was a threat to the American establishment. That is insane, Mr. J. Edgar Hoover. That is insane. Shame on you. Shame on you and all your other criminal organizations that sit there and prey upon families, and you guys sit there and you disenfranchise and you just destroy those values, those sacred values. This shit gets me pissed off, man. Yo, that shit gets me pissed off, man. I'm not even gonna get into what we need. I'm just letting you guys be aware of some of the statistics and some of the facts that go into a lot of this betrayal of the government. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's hard to, and that's another thing. Like, for the average person right now, I understand your anger, but for the average person right now, right, when you're not capable of seeing every day, because you understand, as Americans, as people in society, humanity, like, there's people across the world who's worried about what they're gonna eat. You understand what I'm saying? They don't even think about how they got to the place where, damn, why am I struggling? Why am I hungry? Oh, it's because I don't have money. Why don't I have money? Well, because you don't have a job. Why is there nowhere to work? They don't even have time to think that much, or that, like, we have a privileged people right now as far as where we are right now. We have the privilege to actually go down the list and understand how things work and how things came to be.
Yeah.
And how to make sure that those things don't happen again. You understand what I'm saying? Because I hear what you're saying, and you know, I'm not trying to take the blame off of it or blame anybody, but it's hard to see what's going on when you're being psyop, man. It's hard to be a person who's trying to live day-to-day life as a citizen, as a law-abiding. All you care about is your family, man. You want to make sure your family is good. If you have children, you want to make sure they're all right. But to worry that there are nefarious individuals who literally took hand in making a propaganda to put you where you are in society.
Shame on you.
It's outlandish though at the same time.
Yeah.
Because as a person, as a man, you got to take responsibility. Like, all right, what can I do today, right? But to point it out, it's almost defeatist, because it's like, yo, damn, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Really? Is that why my not me specifically, that person, let's say they're in a bad position, is that why my this family member was a crackhead? Is that why this family member did this illegal thing? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not crazy to think about.
It is.
It's like, yo, is this the reason why? Like, is niggas who are listening to the future like, damn, son, is this, they really responsible for this? I could have been some rich nigga with a company, but instead I'm over here like breaking these things up. Like, is that something that?
It's crazy how you say that, because Future, he glorifies all them drugs, and he don't even touch not one of them drugs.
Hey, yo, and you know what's so crazy, right?
Yeah, that's
and like,
true.
Just to piggyback off what you were saying earlier, right? And you say a lot of us, right, might even think, well, you guys are the ones that are creating all this music that's out, but you don't even understand the facts behind anything to even say something like that. And I'm gonna give you a fact. Most of these people who are behind. Okay, the artist, he creates the music, but at the end of the day, once you sign a contract, there's certain things in a contract that you cannot go against. And I'm gonna tell you a few facts. If the people that you're under wants you to create a certain kind of music, and most of the time it's the music that sells, and a lot of the times is what? Gangster rap, music that promotes prostitution and abuse, drug dealing, and things of that nature, right? And they don't want you to preach about the good times, uplifting, raising your vibration and things like that. And this is exactly why, and we said it before, that there's probably CIA agents within the music industry. And there you go. There is. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to bring up that one time where, I can't remember his name, but he was a business executive. I think he owns one of the labels or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was on The Breakfast Club.
Right.
Go ahead and tell him, because you're going to explain that shit way better, man.
Well, apparently there was a person, an individual, who owned a music label. And he was on a Breakfast Club talking to Charlemagne the God.
And he's one of those people.
And Charlemagne the God was saying, "Hey, you're making money from these hip hop artists talking about, selling drugs and gang banging. What, like, you're a part of the problem? You understand that, right?" And his answer was profound. He was just honest.
After a whole bunch of hours of interrogation, and dodging all the questions,
he said it straight up like this. He said, "Hey, man, we all gotta make a living somehow." So. And he's white too. I'm not gonna say what kind of white, but he is white. But it happens. It rhymes with
right? hue. Like hue, like the color.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. But the whole point is this, right? There's been a ton of people who've made money off of hip hop, off of negative music, but there's also another side to it all, right? There's another side to the positive side, right? Where black people will argue with us and be like, you know what, that's hip hop, that's our music, that was something special.
Is it your music?
Right? That was something that we created from our hearts. Like honestly, there have been like creatives who created a music with good intentions. Now this is the truth. They just wanted to create. It's like an artist who paints the end of the world, and the end of the world actually happens.
Yeah.
He didn't know that was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? He probably was watching it happen, but he's like, nah, this is what I created. It was my inspiration. These people are inspired by real things that are happening in their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
To be honest, they were an outcry from within these communities. Mm-hmm. And during these times, when in the beginning stages, you know how they was coming at NWA. Well, by the way, have you seen that movie?
Yeah. It was like a division.
So in the beginning, Caucasians, political leaders, people within schools, they hated hip hop. They said, "Hey, man, which is true. You're giving the kids the wrong message. What's wrong with you?" And you know what? A lot of them were saying like, "Yo, this is just a reflection of what we're going through in these neighborhoods." Instead of them saying, "Hey, what can we do to change this?" Right? As politicians, they said, "Hey, stop making this music. You're promoting the wrong things." And it's like, it was like a reverse psychology. I'm like, no, why didn't you stop? Why didn't you say, "Hey, what? You guys are doing this? What can we do to stop this?" Mm-hmm. Nothing. Not one politician said that, yo.
And you know what's crazy? It'll only stop because, look, let me just give you, I'm not even going to get off topic, but it's kind of like an example. During the crack epidemic, right, Hillary Clinton is famous for just say no.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of black men were being incarcerated at an alarming rate. And her thing to the whole entire thing was just say no. 20 years later, 30 years later, right? Now, because there's a different demographic being affected with the opiate crisis, now they have all these treatment centers. And I'm not saying that I'm jealous, but I'm just aware of what's going on.
You're talking about the Moon Blanc?
Yes, but look, and the only time they will The only time they will change anything is when their children are being affected. Watch, this is what's going to end up happening. In the 20 years, 30 years, or whatever the case is, you're going to see black people are going to stray away from that type of music. And guess who's going to be picking up this music? Because, you know, we create the style, we create the new age thing. We're the source of all this entertainment. When we move away from everything that's going on and we're past all this all this negative talk, your children are going to be the ones to pick up the ashes and create, because you see it now, right? Mm-hmm. You see it now. Now there's other people making gangster rap and they're promoting all this crazy lifestyle and you feel me? But guess what? We're going to stray away from it, and your children are going to be affected because guess what? That's just a way of life. It's karma. That's all it is. And I'm not going to say I'm looking forward for that day, but I just know it's going to happen. Like, I know it's going to happen.
20 and 30 years, everyone's going to be light-skinned, bro.
Nah, we're going to be brown. Like me. Welcome to the party. Be brown.
I'm doing my part too. There's gonna be mad Stephen Curry's out there.
He said, man, it's gonna be a lot of people shooting threes all day.
Mad Zendayas and stuff.
Yo, shout out to Zendaya. Hey, yo. I mean, you know, shout out to you, Zendaya.
Damn. So where did that come from?
Lusted over that.
Oh my gosh, that was a shot right there.
Hey, yo, if Spider-Man could do that, you feel me? Why can't I?
I mean,
that's her type, bro.
That's her type, but guess what?
Moonblood.
Guess what? My name's, you know what my real name is. Anyways, not to get off topic, Blunteers.
Pharaoh, white bitch slayer.
For
yo, what are you doing? Yeah, we're gonna cut that out.
Nah, I like that. I like that.
All right, anyways, yo, we're back in a serious mode.
All right, serious mode. Nah, you know what it is? All right, to bring it back to this whole thing, right? It connects.
It does.
Everything connects, right? But as a culture, we do have to take some sort of responsibility,
accountability
for the perpetuation of it all. Even though we've been seeing it for however many years. There have been, and we also can't ignore the black leaders who have been doing positive things for the community, or at least trying. You understand what I'm saying? We have to also acknowledge the people who have failed, right? Because there are also black people who have been trying to do things, literal cities that have been burnt to the ground or drowned. There have been people who have made efforts that have been stopped.
Exactly.
And we don't know who they've been stopped by too. We can't assume it's always the government or CIA. But
sometimes it'd be the citizens.
Sometimes it's citizens. But most of the time, I do believe it is the CIA or the government.
Even the psyop of confusion where you've got normal civilians, maybe white folks, that they put propaganda into fear, making them fear. Like even the whole marijuana thing.
Yeah. When
they even put in the papers that marijuana gets white women sexually attracted to black men. So don't let your wife smoke that damn thing. She might bring home back a, colored folk, whatever the case is. So they use propaganda and fear. So like at the end of the day, I understand. Mm-hmm. So it's all about using your third eye and using your mind in the correct manner where you see the enemy. You have to study the enemy in order to understand his moves. If you don't, you will be shit out of luck, Right. And that would my last things would be, be aware. Use your senses because you got more than one. Okay, use your mind, study, and take notes. That's all I got to say, Blunteers.
Well, yeah, man. Hey, how we? All right. Yeah. So my entire thing on this is this, right? We can go back and forth about who's responsible all day. Here's the uncomfortable question I think that we could bring, right? This is the last thing I'm gonna say, because I want to ask you this question. Then,
okay.
Because we this discussion has been done before, as far as, okay, yeah, let's say they did play a part. Let's say we also played a part too, as far as the people easily being manipulated. How hard did they have to push? That's the real question, because that's what I'm interested about. How hard did they have to try to push an entire generation, an entire culture of people, as far as propaganda is concerned? How hard did they have to push to get us to this place, to get to where we are today, as far as the prison complex, as far as them making the money that they do from the incarcerations?
Okay.
It was successful, very successful. But how hard did they push?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Extra hard to get to this place? Was it all that deliberate, or did they overshoot it?
I'll tell you. I would say they put probably everything they had into this operation. Really? And you know why? Just first of all, because like we're not gonna end it. We're just gonna end it a little bit soon. But look, just look at some of these facts. A lot of gun control laws were literally passed after the destabilization of the Black Panther movement. So they were so afraid of a non-violent group, because we don't really have a history of violence against other people. You know? We don't. Okay, there's only one group. Most violence that is done either black on black, white on white, Asian on Asian, Spanish on Spanish in this country. These are facts. Now, there's only one group, and I'm not going to say, you can go up and look up the FBI statistics, one group that has the most violence on their own group and others. So you got to take us out of that equation, because it ain't us, right? So we were basically a non-violent group of people, right? To the point where a non-violent group that wasn't threatening or didn't threaten you, but you've seen it as threatening, that you had to pass laws. And you also had to get informants. And you had to take those informants. I can't remember the exact movie, but it was an interview. It was an interview I seen on YouTube where this man was saying that they would use your deepest, darkest fears. And they would get you to destabilize, or they would get them to help them to destabilize certain groups.
Yeah.
That sounds like a well thought out operation. You don't just do that for just a simple operation. No, they put thought, sweat, money, tears, blood into this operation, man.
Right.
Would you agree on that?
I agree on that. I definitely agree on that, man. So essentially, what you're saying is it's always been an operation.
It's still ongoing now.
Yeah. There's still, now it's more complicated now in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could go like
we can, because this is not a 30-minute conversation that you can just have. It's one of those conversations where it could be an hour of just straight facts, back and forth opinions and things of that nature. You know,
most definitely. And it's interesting because music is a huge part of American culture, of world culture.
Yeah,
we're talking about people who know who Snoop Dogg is out in China.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that serious. But you know, we could probably do another episode about this. You know, as far as, but my final thoughts on this is, man, do your research, guys, and pay attention to what's going on around you as far as music, as far as culture, as far as politics. They all connected somehow. And don't be psyoped into believing anything you hear on the news, anything you hear even by us. Do your own research.
Yeah.
Like, do your own things, man. Because
we should make some shirts like that. Do your own research, unless somebody don't have that.
Let's trademark that. Let's look that up and trademark it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
Yeah, it's been on this first. Do your own research.
If that's the case.
Yeah, man. But yeah, there you go, Blunt Tears. You know, if you guys want us to talk more about this, we can. It's the Blunt and Reality.
Hit the like button. Yo, share, comment, subscribe.
Comments.
500 comments, baby. That is our milestone. Help us get to 500, you know? Yes, you know. And you.
Courageous Cat Studio Lounge. We here.
We out, baby.